So I think the first implication of that is it can easily lead to nuclear arms racing. Secondly, once militaries start to think about pursuing escalation dominance, it's very conducive to a nuclear warfighting doctrine. So you basically try to think about how to fight a limited nuclear war at the lowest level, and then how to achieve advantage at higher rounds of the escalation ladder. So that's a very different type of doctrinal thinking than a simple doctrine based on second strike from massive retaliation. Once militaries actually start a nuclear escalation after the nuclear threshold is already crossed, I think they would quickly find that achieving escalation dominance, or even to simply manage escalation in a nuclear war, would be much harder than it sounds in theory, because nuclear escalation wouldn't be linear, and it wouldn't be limited to a single domain, right? Your adversary always has the option to escalate in asymmetrical ways in a different military domain, right? It might respond to a limited nuclear use by starting a conflict in the outer space, by attacking your strategic satellites in outer space, or by launching a massive cyber strike against your critical civilian infrastructure, causing massive damage, or even including massive civilian casualties. There are many ways to escalate a nuclear war, in addition to striking with more nuclear weapons at a larger scale. And then another complicating factor is it's very hard for the two sides to agree on how a certain measure is, how escalatory is a certain measure. Right? For example, if country A is struck by a very limited nuclear attack using tactical nuclear weapons against a very isolated military facility that didn't cause much civilian casualty, and then you decide again to launch a conventional strike on your enemy's political leadership, trying to decapitate your enemy's top commanders. Would that type of response be viewed as escalatory or de-escalatory? Or if it is escalatory, how much more escalatory it is compared with a different type of response? So it's very hard to locate where you are in a very simple linear spectrum of escalation. In the modern warfare, it's, I think, very increasingly hard for one side to predict and control the actual effect of a military response. Right? You may intend to have a limited nuclear response, but it could cause unexpectedly larger damage to your adversary, especially when you consider the impact of emerging military technologies, when your nuclear strike might be intercepted by your enemy's missile defense, or you decide to use cyber attack against your enemy's nuclear command control system. It's hard to know for sure how your technologies would work and how much damage it will cause to your enemy's nuclear system. I think that further increases the difficulty of managing nuclear escalation. And also, it's equally harder, if not more so, for your enemy to precisely understand your intended level of escalation. So for all these uncertainties, I think the actual process of managing escalation would be very messy. And so the best strategy to avoid all the risks associated with the managing escalation or achieving escalation dominance is not to go there, not to try to develop a nuclear warfighting doctrine.